Hey gang, by request, today we're going to do a song that features the wah-wah. This is Come to Poppa, a song from Bob Seger's 1976 album Night Moves. Now it's one of the lesser known songs from that album, but what I really like about it is that it's sort of a typical 1970s or mid-1970s rock solo. Pretty darn straightforward, A minor pentatonic, really the sweet spot for us guitar players. And the notes will just fall under your fingers so that you can really concentrate on getting the wah-wah right. All right, so I'm going to do the demo and then the note for note right after that. If you like this sort of thing, why don't you subscribe to the channel? We do this sort of thing every week, and so I think you'll dig it. All right, here comes the demo. Hey gang, let's go over this now note for note. First things first, you download the tab from the link below. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. Now, what I want to cover in the solo is I'm going to do the whole solo kind of slow without the wah, and then we'll talk about how you use the wah. It's not that complicated, but let's get the solo down first so that we're comfortable with it, okay? So, to do this, I think the only thing you need to know about the song is that the solo is over this part right here. Basically, that's the whole, almost the entire song is just that kind of that bass note going from G to A to G, back to A, and then occasionally putting in on the fifth string the C and this D. And then there's just that one little piece of the song. It's not even part of the solo, but we'll cover it really quickly, where it goes, when life is hard to understand. That's a B chord, and you like C sharp chord. It's way out of hand, back to B. And then coming from this A flat, which is the fourth, just kind of chromatically walks up and then goes back to. All right, so in any event, that's that piece at the end. That's what we're playing the solo in. So that's the whole solo. That's it, basically. And the wah really kind of accents a lot of those bends, which is really cool. Makes it nice. It really is a solo that's tailored for the wah, and I'll kind of talk about that, how you can do that. All right, so we're going to start out here. Here's the first line. So pure minor pentatonic, we're going to bend up on the second string, eighth whole step. And then just come down the minor pentatonic. And then backtrack a little bit going back to the third string. Give it some vibrato. That's the first line. Here's the second line. All right, so this is just the extended minor pentatonic, if you know that. We're going to bend up on the 10th fret, a whole step, and then bring it back to the 10th, and then a couple of times on this 8th on the second string, and hammer it back onto the 10. That's a line that's really good for the wah-wah, by the way, as we'll talk about in just a second. And then finally, another great line for the wah-wah. We're going to start out with, again, those 2 hits on the 8th fret 2nd string. And then we're going to just kind of very quickly slide down 9th on the 3rd down to 7th. And then we're back in our minor pentatonic box. All right, so that's it for the first part of the solo. The second part, again, is fairly straightforward. There's a lot of similar lines that are going on here. Here we go. Here's the first one. That's such a straightforward line in the minor pentatonic. I'm not going to talk through the frets and all that. I'll just play it nice and slowly. All right, you hear how he's doing all these hammer-ons? Those are going to coincide with notes that we emphasize with the wah-wah, which is going to be cool. All right, here's the second line of the second part. Notice the beginning of this line is exactly like the previous line, all right? So there's a nice thing about this is kind of call and response. Okay, again, we're going to do that. It's the same as the line that we've already done, the call part of it, and here's the response, last line of it. And that's when it goes into the bridge, right? That part right there, okay? So that last line is a little bit different. It does add 1 note from outside the minor pentatonic, and let's just kind of go through it slowly. It's the blues note. And you're in the next part of it, okay? One more time just to get this. This is minor pentatonic. And now here's the blues note, 3rd string, 8th fret. And then this. And once we hit this note right here, 7th fret on the 3rd string, which is on the 4th string, which is an A, we're going to backtrack up on the 3rd. So just kind of bend over your 3rd finger, or kind of reach over with your 3rd finger and play the same fret on the 3rd string. There's the blue note again. All right, and that's it for the solo. Let's talk about the wah now. I'm going to put on the wah, and I'm going to play pretty close to, I think, what I played in the beginning. So now I've got the wah on, right? Okay, so what we're generally going to do with the wah is we're going to play on the on beats, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to depress my foot on the wah for all the ones, or for all the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm bringing it back up on the ands, okay? So it should sound like this. I'm just going to hit a single note. That's kind of the general rule on playing these wahs. And sometimes when you have a long bent note or something that you want sustain, you want to just leave it at one time. But if you want to, you can just kind of let your foot go on that 1, 2, 3, 4 tap all the time. So I'm going to do that for starters, and then I'm going to alter it just at the end, give you a couple of tips. So here it is, just by playing on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Did you notice there's a couple of things? So that I was just doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, and it worked pretty well. There's only a couple of different tweaks that we'll do to this one. But one thing I wanted you to notice was that on this one, let's do the second line. The first line is pretty straightforward. Nothing really interesting about that in terms of using the wah. But the second one, do you hear how that worked? So the strong notes and the hammer-on occur on the on beats, not the and, right? On the 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's kind of cool. And you'll see that on the next one too. Hear that? That's corresponding with the strong beat, not the and. Does that make sense to everybody? On the down beat, not on the up. All right. So I think that's just about it. If you get it on the 1, 2, 3, 4, those are depressing. You're depressing the wah. You're bringing it back up on the ands. It's going to work. Now, the couple of exceptions you can make are sometimes on a long bend, you don't want to do the wah up and down. You just want to leave it in the down position, like so. You hear how I resumed the up and down once I got into the rest of the notes. But that first note, sometimes that's a helpful thing. So on the first one you can do that, and on this one you can do it as well. All right, gang, there you go. Bob Seger's Come to Poppa. Really cool song featuring the wah-wah. Hope you like this one. I had fun putting it together. See you on down the road.